All right, so let's see how you did on that class. We are given this question dealing with earthquakes and the depths in which the earthquake is happening. It tells us that earthquakes occur at different depths below Earth's surface. Stronger earthquakes happen at depths that are closer to the surface. The table shows the depths of recent earthquakes in kilometers. So then we have this data set of 14 different pieces of information, and we always have to start in the same step. We're asked to construct a box plot. We're asked to describe the distribution of the data. We have to start with the same first step, which is put them in order from least to greatest. So as I'm doing that, I start with a 1 and I get rid of it, and then a 2, and then I have a 3, and I also have a 4. And then when I see that I have a 5, I hopefully notice that I have another 5 and yet another 5. So I have 3 of them. And then sevens, I've got 2 of those. And nines, I have 2 of those. And then we have a 10, an 11, and a 15. So I have all my pieces in my data set written down. Step 1, good to go. Step 2, now I need to find the median of the group. The median, once again, is the middle. So I'm going to do a process of elimination, crossing them off in pairs, one on the left and one on the right, until I'm either left with one piece of data in the middle or 2 in the middle that I have to do the math on. So I go one on the left, one on the right, one on the left, one on the right, crossing them off into pairs until I see that I have an even set of data, so therefore I have 2 of them left in the middle. And in that case, then I have to add them together and always divide by 2 because I'm adding 2 numbers together. Now, I'm sure that the majority of you can look at that and say, well, the middle number, if I'm counting, is 6. And that's fantastic. However, we want to be able to show that it is 6 because as we get into harder math, we have to know what math we're doing. So I'm going to add them together and then divide by 2. 7 plus 5 is 12. 12 divided by 2 is indeed the 6 that we said. So I know I'm going to put a line where my median would be in between that 5 and that 7. And then I'm going to put a line up above my number line, my tally mark, to indicate where the median would be, which is right above where the 6 would be. Now we've got to look at my next step, step 3. So now we're going to find our lower quartile. So our lower quartile then is everything to the left of the median. Once again, that long, in my case, I use green. So in that long line in the middle between the 5 and the 6, or 5 and the 7, tells me that the 6 is the median. So everything to the left of that. So that includes all 3 of those 5s. And I need to find the middle of that group. Well, now I have an odd number of data. So I can cross each of those off, and I find out that my lower quartile is 4. So I have to make a tally mark as it tells me to in step 3, where the 4 would be. I make a tally for my lower quartile. Now I got to do step 4, which is my upper quartile. My upper quartile includes everything to the right of the median. So from the 7 all the way to the 15. And I'm going to go through the same process. I'm going to cross one off on the left, cross one off on the right until I get into the middle. If I have a single number, then that's going to be my upper quartile, such as the 9 in this case. If I had 2 numbers, I would have to add them together and divide by 2. Since I have the 9, it's a single number. I'm now going to make my tally mark as it tells me to, above where the 9 would be on my number line. Step 5 then says, if I know my median, my lower quartile, my upper quartile, now I'm going to make the box for my box plot. So I'm just simply going to connect those and make the box. Now, once again, that is my quartile range. It is showing my lowest up to my highest as we're doing it. All right, so then as we're going through, now I have to be able to find my lowest number and my highest number. So step 6 is showing what is the lowest number. Well, the lowest number in my data set is 1. So I'm going to make a tally mark above where the 1 would be and then connect it to the box. Now I want to find my other whisker, which is going to be the highest number. And in this case, it is 15. I make a tally mark above the 15 and I connect it to the box. So now I have my box plot, or my box and the whiskers, and then I need to answer those three questions that we reviewed in class. One, explain or describe the range. Two, describe the interquartile range. And then explain which is going to be the most concentrated when it comes to the data collection. So when we talk about the range, we want to say that the range in these earthquakes goes from a depth of 1 kilometer all the way down to 15 kilometers, right? So the range depth would be 14. When I look at the box, the interquartile zone, then that's my middle half of the data, or middle half of the depths in this example. Goes from 4 kilometers down to 9 kilometers for a depth difference of 5 kilometers. But then that third question is, well, which one is going to be the most consistent? Which one is the most compacted when it comes to the data collection? And in this particular example, we can see that the data collection is mostly contained and pushed together inside the interquartile zone where the box is, where the whiskers are more spread out. So we write the sentence, the box is more compacted. So we know the consistency, that's the key word they're wanting us to use, is for the depths to be in the middle grouping of the 4 to 9 kilometers. So did you get all those? If you didn't, do you know where you messed up? Because if you don't, then please ask so we can help you, so we can explain this, because these are definitely going to be on your standardized test, but you've got a test over chapter 10 coming up soon.